Today we're going to do a build-up on a government 1911 style pistol. This is one I originally built 25 years ago from an Appx Arms 1911 frame and slide kit. Recently it had some failure issues and we're going to take a look at that.
First we need to understand why the gun failed in the first place. So if we look at the breech face on the slide, you'll see excessive cratering caused by high power ammunition, over 40,000 rounds or so, caused the hole to close up where the firing pin came through, causing the firing pin to get stuck forward into the firing chamber. So this slide is no good. We also had a very vague trigger pull, so if you look at the sear facing area here, you can see that the sear has actually been damaged. We're looking at that under a microscope. Now, using a set of Brownell sear and hammer pins, which are actually inserted into the frame of the gun, we're actually looking at the sear engagement on the full cock position, and you can see that that is definitely not optimal. It's signs of a lot of wear, so we're going to replace all these components in this government 1911 type pistol. The old slide, which is damaged, and a new slide, which is made by Fusion Firearms. It's actually their high carbon steel match grade slide. I've already tightened up the frame to slide fit the old way, and Firearm, we have a Nowlin hammer sear disconnector kit. It's a drop-in kit, but it'll still need to be fit. Magazine plunger, all new pins. We have a Brownell titanium hammer strut. We have a new Nowlin trigger that's completely adjustable for over travel and take up, and also that new slide we talked about. So we're going to install all those new components in the Firearm. The first thing we're going to do is take the frame and the slide and re-parkerize those before we actually give it a... Here's our frame and slide cooking away in the parkerizing solution, and the key here is to use distilled water and get it up to boiling as quick as possible. I actually used the map torch on the stainless steel pot to get it up to temperature quicker. There's our frame and slide fresh out of the parkerizing solution, and that's black parkerizing. Just sprayed it with moisture displacing and corrosion stop fluid, and it looks like they came out perfect. I had them in, cooked them for about 30 minutes. After parkerizing the pistol, I cleaned it off with 91% isopropyl alcohol. I then sprayed the entire frame and slide with the Brownell's black Teflon Moly paint. Let's check it out and see how it came out. Let's open up the Easy Bake Oven and see what we got here. And there it is. Looks like it came out really good. We'll let it cool down and take it out of the oven. We've got a few more parts to take out of the oven. We're going to take the ejector out and the extractor. So what we've done is taken those and contoured those to fit the rear of the slide. The other thing I did was I took the ejector and I cut or adjusted the compound angle to give me quicker ejection and a cleaner ejection. The other thing I did was I fit it to the frame, and I drilled the hole for the roll pin that will hold the ejector into the frame. And now I'm going to put the roll pin in. The other thing that I've done on my high-speed buffer using white compound, I've taken all the stainless parts, like the beaver tail, the ambidextrous safety, the slide release, magazine catch button, and the guide rod, and polished all those to a high chrome-like finish using white compound. And you can see these operate like glass now, so that'll make the gun run a lot smoother. Also polished the compensator barrel bushing combo here. So we're going to continue the build-up here and see how it comes out. Okay, so our ejector is in, and as you can see we've got the roll pin in there, and I put the extractor and the firing pin in the slide as well as the firing pin stop plate. So the slide is pretty much assembled except for the sights, and now what I'm doing is taking the trigger and putting that over a Brownell trigger forming tool, and basically that'll give us the right geometry for it to fit the frame. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that trigger and I'm actually going to polish it with 400 and then 600 grit sandpaper on the rear here where it goes up against the disconnector, and also the sides and the tops and the bottom where it actually moves through the frame to make that have a jewel movement. So here we've got the trigger in the frame, and you can see it just falls on its own weight, no hang-ups, moves like glass, and that's how we want that trigger fit in the frame. Smooth. Okay, here's a picture of our brand new hammer and sear. This is the Nowlin drop-in fit kit, and I can't say I'm real excited about that sear engagement, so I'm actually going to put that on the power fixture and tune that up. Okay, we're now going to install the plunger tube. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out to the buffer and polish that, and then I'm going to take this small carbide burr and I'm actually going to relieve the holes inside the frame and countersink those for the plunger tube. Then I use a Brownell tool that I have to expand the plunger tube into the frame such that it won't pull out. And it's a tool that I've had for about 25 years and they still sell that. The plunger tube is now polished and installed. If you can see in there, just barely, it's basically swedged down and will never come out again. And there's the tool that we actually use to do that. If you're wondering what I use to polish the metal, I use this high-speed buffer with an 8-inch wheel, and you can get those from Harbor Freight Tools fairly inexpensively. And the white buffing compound, you can see that comes from Eastwood, and if you need some rougher compound, you can get the brown, you get that from Eastwood too. So what we've done here is taken the slide, installed the barrel, put it in the lockup position, the bushing's there, and we have a laser bore sighter in it. We've installed our Novak sights, and let's take an aim here. Yep, looks pretty good. So we've got an initial setup here on our barrel with sights in the slide. What we're doing here is cutting the primary surface angle on the sear. 4 clicks on the power fixture with a fine India stem. What I've done is I've assembled the firearm without the grip safety or the safeties, and I actually checked the trigger pull, and you can see we're at about a little over 3 pounds, 3 pounds 11 ounces, but very crisp, and it's not adjusted, lubricated or anything, so looks like we got a pretty good trigger job done here. Well, here's the finished firearm all assembled, and looks like it came out pretty good. You can see looks pretty nice. And now we'll take it off to the range and dial it in.